Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. How are we all doing here on this Wednesday morning? This is Reganelite here. Hello, guys. Hope you guys are all doing well. Welcome to another good morning live stream here with Reganelite here on Wednesday, the 22nd of October, the 2025. It's 11, just gone over 11 a.m. We are dual streaming live on youtube.com/Reganelite and on twitch.tv/Reganelite1. We're going to be looking at today's daily quota. We're going to be looking at the local weather, well, UK weather, bit of Europe as well. And we're going to be looking more particularly at world news today. Maybe I'll touch on some news stories that I covered yesterday on Global News. Do check out yesterday's Global News live stream if you didn't check it out already as well. There. Normally, I wouldn't do a good morning show, or I would do it at 8 o'clock. I'm not going to be covering Prime Minister's questions this week. The thing is I don't know if I'm going to continue covering Prime Minister's questions. One option, because the thing is, I like doing these good morning shows. I think they're really, really important, and I think I'm not keen on doing it at 8 o'clock in the morning, guys. I do think this time slot really suits the Monday to Fridays, me personally. But so whether or not I will actually continue covering Prime Minister's questions, I don't know. There is an option that I've thought about whether or not I would do this show and then literally go straight into Prime Minister's questions as an option as well. That's something I've thought about as well, but I haven't decided whether or not I want to do that as well here. But for today, we're going to go up to 12 o'clock, and then before 12, I will just encourage people to head over to Politics Social with Graham Hughes, because he always covers Prime Minister's questions there. So if you guys want to check out from his perspective, you can do. But I will not be covering PMQs today here, guys. So before we go to the weather and see what's happening with the weather, let's look at today's daily quota here. This one is from Eghart Toil here. From Eghart Toil, here it is here, guys. You can see it just about. Hopefully you guys can just about see that screen. I hope so anyway. But let's have a listen here to this one. And the reason I put them up on the screen so that you guys know I don't make them up. These are the actual quotes for the day as well. So it says, some changes look negative on the surface, but you will soon realize that space is being created in your life for something new to emerge. Some changes look negative on the surface, but you will soon realize that space is being created in your life for something new to emerge. That's a good one. I like that one. That's a very nice one there. When things happen, yeah, and sometimes you don't always understand why they happen as well. I think that's a fascinating point there. Oh, a lovely one for Annette Kelly tomorrow. We've got a good one from Annette Kelly tomorrow. There. That's going to be a nice one to share. I'm looking forward to sharing that one tomorrow with you guys. That is for sure, guys. That is for sure. Right, let's have a look at today's weather, guys. Let's see what's happening with the weather. So the storm that's going to be coming overnight tomorrow night, guys, and into the next day is actually going to be called Storm Benjamin. Yeah, Storm Benjamin. So this storm that's here, guys, I'm just going to quickly show you it here, because this is today's weather report. Let me just put the wind up here, and I'll show you guys here. That comes out overnight here into overnight here. Comes over here. Yeah, it's Storm Benjamin. I don't know why that happened there, but yeah, Storm Benjamin is what it's going to be called. The storm is going to be hitting pretty much most of all day tomorrow from overnight Wednesday night into Thursday morning. Pretty much most of the day. Yeah, where I'm living is going to be suffering from the most of it there. But that is what is called Storm Benjamin there, guys. Just having a quick look at some of the other temperatures around today. Here we can see some temperatures here. Madrid 20, Lisbon 21. If we go to 4 o'clock, there's just some of the temperatures here. Rome 22, Nice 22, Zagreb 18, Budapest 17 there, Vienna 17, Kiev 8, Warsaw 3, Berlin 15, Prague 13, Bern 15, Paris 14 there, Oslo 11 degrees, Reykjavik a very chilly, very cold 2 degrees you can see there, and it's even 0 degrees. Yep, very, very cold, and you can see the snow there. The ice, it's going to be very, very frosty up there if you're living in Iceland around this time of the year, which is obviously, as people will say in the chats there. But in terms of the UK today, temperatures between 14, London, Manchester 12, Belfast 11, Edinburgh there 11, Cardiff 13, Dublin 13 there. We'll just have a quick look here to see what some of the other temperatures are going to be in other parts of the UK here. So some parts here 14 degrees here on the east side of England here. Yeah, temperatures on most parts, yeah, 14, 13 degrees here. Again, little bits of scattered showers around today, but nothing too serious as it will be when when the storm drops tomorrow. Yeah, 11 12 degrees in down here in the south and southwest of England here. We can see there Cardiff at 13 degrees there, Gloucestershire 13. South of Wales here 12 13 degrees there as well. But most parts of Wales here, from the looks of it, it not looks like they're going to face too much weather here from the looks of it today. Maybe some little bits of scattered showers again, but nothing too serious there again. Then we see temperatures there at 12 13 11 degrees again in the Midlands there again. Nothing that we don't already expect here from the weather here as well. Moving a bit further up into the north, from the Midlands up to the north of England here. Some places 14 degrees, some as low as 11. It varies, of course. And as we go further up from the south, from the north of England into the south of Scotland here, moving further up there, 11 degrees, 10 degrees in some parts here. Edinburgh, Glasgow, 11 10 respectfully there. Oban at 10 degrees, Bridgend 20, 10. 20 would be nice. Fort Williams there 10, Dundee 12 as well, Stonehaven, Aberdeen both 12 and 12 degrees respectfully there, Inverness at 11 as well, Ullapool at 9 as well. So those are some of the temperatures expected around today. If we move into the next day here, and they'll put it at 1 o'clock. Can we go to 1 o'clock tomorrow? Yeah, we can go to 1 o'clock tomorrow. So you can see there's going to be severe high winds pretty much throughout the whole day, and you can still see that big storm here coming in from Storm Benjamin. Excuse me, we're still going to be feeling that for sure there. Good morning, person. I hope you are doing well. First comment of the day. Yeah, you can see, and it's going to be a bit chilly. It's going to be very chilly tomorrow, despite the fact that it's going to be chilly. 10 degrees, guys. 10 degrees. It's going to be very chilly. 8 degrees in some parts. The storm is going to make things. It's going to be a very chilly storm, that's for sure there. And then south of England here, 11 at 12 degrees there. We got temperatures there. So as I said, you can see from the wind marks there, high winds pretty much in most places. If you're on the coast, it's going to be a lot worse. So please be careful on the coast there as well. So please be aware of that as well. So yeah, just take precautions. Probably an umbrella is probably not an ideal. Probably if you have a raincoat, you'll probably want that tomorrow rather than a brolly, because it's just going to get blown away, is what I will say, guys, because the winds are going to be very strong. Lots of rain around, forecasting around the south of England, in parts of Wales, in the Midlands here. You can see there, as I said, temperatures very low, 9 at 10 degrees there. Some parts 8, some parts 11 there, but mainly around 9, 10 degrees, as you can see, even in the north of England. They will experience some of that storm, but not as much as they will in the south of England here. Now I'll greet the rest of the chat who is coming in just a moment. Moving further up from the north of England into the south of Scotland here, as you see, temperatures are a lot colder. 9 8 degrees in some parts, 9 and 9 degrees in Edinburgh. That's Thursday afternoon, so it's starting to get a bit chilly up in going to get real chilly in some parts. Fort Williams there, 9 degrees. Aberdeen, Stonehaven at 10 at 9 degrees. But again, these are temperatures that you would expect around this time of year here. And just for reference, over in Northern Ireland, so we don't leave them out there, 9 10 degrees in some parts there, Dublin there at 9 degrees. Just pull back a little bit, and just quickly, I'll just say hello to Ellie. Good to see you there. Alison Keir, Doris there. Good to see you there. Scott Hayes, Janet, and anybody else who's looking in the chats. Hope you guys are all doing well. Yeah, good to see you guys all. Hope you're all doing well. Yep, so let's just have a look at that rain forecast that we were looking at just a moment there. So you can see it's going to be coming over and overshadowing into pretty much all day. It's going to be even in the evening there. The oops there from WBC Weather needs to fix that. But yeah, overnight, Thursday night as well. It should be a calm. Most parts of the UK should be calm there overnight on Thursday night. Most parts there, shall we say. But temperatures there, you can see 7 degrees, 6 degrees in Edinburgh, very chilly there, into Friday there. Some parts will still experience some rain, but most of it will be just dry from the recovery from the storm there. but we will experience some showers here and there. You can see there Edinburgh Friday afternoon, and parts of Scotland are going to experience some weather patterns there, but it's still going to be quite cold, 11 to 10 degrees there. Wales looks like it's going to experience a bit of rain there. Is that rain going to come forward anymore? No, so it looks like where I am probably not going to experience too much of the rain there, but going overnight on Friday into Saturday morning here, doesn't look like, there's going to be any rain overnight there. We can see temperatures in the middle of the night, 7-8 degrees there, 5 degrees in Edinburgh. Again, it's going to be chilly in many parts there. But Saturday, again, cold temperatures 9, 11, 10, and 9, 8 degrees. Some of these temperatures are expected to be there. Some possible showers in one or two areas, but most parts is going to be all right. And some winds are still quite high in some parts, but that is what to expect, guys, in terms of the weather there. Paula, good to see you there. Hope you are doing well. Indy Duck, good to see you there. Hope you are doing well. Thank you, Alison Keir, for the £2 super chat just to get the goal started. Yes, thank you so much for that. Appreciate it. Akismad, good to see you there. I will be listening in the gaffer once I have breakfast. No worries, Akismad. Thanks for listening in. Much appreciate it. I know not everyone can comment, so it's fine. Thank you so much for that £2 super chat, my friend. I appreciate that. Then we're going to ask if you could show the English papers headlines if you can. Don't really do I'm not covering the UK news today, unfortunately. I plan to cover the world news. I covered it yesterday, unfortunately. So the plan is world news today, I'm afraid. And anyone else? Denise Pritchard, because I'm going to cover because I want to cover UK news every single day. I'm covering it pretty much most days anyway. This is the only day of the week where I'm not covering it. And I think I've just covered everyone in the chat. Yeah, I've covered everyone in the chat. Okay, let's get started. So I want to start with this story that I didn't catch here from when I covered global news last night. We covered quite a few varieties of news, guys, but this is quite a big one here. We talked on the global news about the destruction of the West Wing of the White House being demolished here, but here on the Associated Press, I want to take you straight to this article here from the Associated Press, which is very worrying indeed. So he said, Donald Trump says he will have the final say on money he seeks over past federal investigations into his conduct. So what is this about, guys? So you guys remember, obviously, he was indicted and he was accounted with 34 felony counts. Of course, he's a convicted felon, and basically he's been chased after for other investigations and crimes that he has allegedly committed. But there's some obviously where we're pretty confident that he has as well. And he's basically because he's the president of the United States, is basically saying these departments owe me money for basically coming after me, basically, and he wants compensation from them. So that's what this is about, which is just so infuriating, because he believes that he's innocent, he hasn't done nothing wrong, and now it's a witch hunt, and because it was all a witch hunt. But he's decided, no, I want to go after the departments who spent money to try and take me out, and now I want compensation, for the money that they spent to try to take me on. No, this is not a joke. So President Donald Trump has said on Tuesday that the federal government owes him a lot of money for prior Justice Department investigations into his actions, and insisted he would have the ultimate say on any payout because any decisions will have to go across my desk. So if they offer him a certain amount of money, he'll say, no, that's not enough money, I want more money. Trump's comments to reporters at the White House came in response to questions about a New York Times story that said he had filed administrative claims before being re-elected and seeking roughly $230 million in damages related to the FBI's 2022 search of his Mar-a-Lago property for classified documents and for separate investigations into potential ties between Russia and his 2016 presidential campaign. Trump said on Tuesday that he did not know the dollar figures involved, but suggested he had not spoken to officials about it. But he added, all I know is that they would owe me a lot of money. Though the Justice Department has a protocol for reviewing such claims, Trump has said, it's interesting because I'm the only one that makes the decision, right? That decision will have to go across my desk, he added. But he said he could donate any taxpayer money or use it to help pay for the ballroom he's building at the White House. Sure. The status of the claim and any negotiations over them within the Justice Department was not immediately clear. One of Trump's lead defense lawyers in the Mar-a-Lago investigation, Todd Blanchard, is now the Deputy Attorney General at the Justice Department. The current Associate Attorney General, Stanley Woodward, representing Trump's valet and co-defendant, Walt Nutter, in the same case. In any circumstances, all officials at the Department of Justice followed the guidance of the career ethics official, a Justice Department spokesperson said. A White House spokesperson referred comments to the Justice Department. Trump signaled his interest in compensation during a White House appearance last week with Blanche, FBI Director Kash Patel, and Attorney General Pam Bondi, who was part of Trump's legal team during one of the impeachment cases against him. I have a lawsuit that I was doing very well, and when I became president, I said, I'm suing myself. I don't know. How do you settle the lawsuit? He said. I'll say, give me X dollars. I don't know what to do with the lawsuit. It's a great lawsuit now, and now I won. It looks bad. I'm suing myself. I don't know. I hate this so much. This guy. Do you remember there was a while ago, guys? Do you remember there was a story a while ago? We covered it. I think we covered it on here. And the January the 6th rioters, right? You know, obviously they got pardoned by Donald Trump, right? Some of them were looking for compensation from the government for suing them for what they did as well. And you have the exact same thing being done here with Donald Trump. But the difference is between them and Donald Trump is Donald Trump is the president of the United States, and he can essentially try and do whatever he wants here. The Times said the two claims were filed with the Justice Department as part of a process that seeks to resolve federal complaints through settlements and avert litigation. One of the administration claims filed in August 2024 and reviewed by the Associated Press seeks comprehensive and punctuate damage over the search of his Mar-a-Lago estate, and the resulting case alleging that he had hoarded classified documents and thwarted government efforts to retrieve them. His lawyer who filed the claim alleged the case was a malicious prosecution carried out by the Biden administration to hurt Trump's bid to reclaim the White House, forcing Trump to spend tens of millions of dollars in his defense. No, thank you. The investigation produced criminal charges at Justice Department Special Counsel Jack Smith, abandoned last November because of the department's policy against the indictment of a sitting president. Yeah, then this is what they tried to do. Is basically a lot of cases were shelved or dropped, and most of them were shelved or put on freeze while Donald Trump is president, because there's no point pursuing a sitting president. The Times said other claims seeking damages related to the long-concluded Trump-Russia investigation, which continues to infuriate the president. Yeah, because he wants any and all. That's one thing that he will definitely want to stop before he's done, if he ever does give up the presidential role, which we don't know at the moment. But one of the things that he will not want to do is give up. Is have these cases hung over him. If he does end his presidency, which we highly suspect that he will try to sneak in a third term, right? But if he does, okay, if he actually does, he will want every single case and file against him dropped in some way, shape, or form. Ones that are still frozen, he will want his team and administration to go after, make sure everything that any kind of investigations, anything that would come on him is basically squashed, so that he can walk away clean, basically. Oh, is Max going live today at PMQs? Oh, that's good. I wasn't sure if he was going to or not, but no, that's good to hear. Yeah, I said at the start of this live stream, guys, I don't think I'm going to be doing PMQs. Like, a part of me thought about doing Good Morning Show and then going into Prime Minister's questions, but yeah, there's already Graham Hughes and Max Rosbeer both going to be covering PMQs today, so you can check it out from either one of the links that Alison Keir has provided down below there. So. Yeah, I think this is probably more preferable than the Prime Minister's questions, to be fair. Let's see what else Associated Press are saying here. I'm going to talk about Russia a bit more from the Kiev Independent. We'll go to them in there shortly, so I want to touch on some of the things it says there on that platform. No platform on that website. What else they got here? Massive virtual arcade. Las Vegas Strip files for bankruptcy after just 1 year in business. A virtual arcade. OpenAI launches Atlas, a browser to compete with Google Chrome. This is a new browser, huh? AI introduced its own web browser, Atlas, on Tuesday, putting ChatGPT market in direct competition with Google as more interesting users rely on artificial intelligence to answer their questions, making it a popular AI chatbot gateway to online searches that could allow OpenAI and the most well-motivated startup to pull in more internet traffic and the revenue made from digital advertising. It could also further cut the lifeblood of online publishers if ChatGPT so effectively feeds people summarized information that they stop exploring the internet and clicking on traditional web links. Yeah. OpenAI said ChatGPT has more than 800 million users, but many of them got it for free. San Diego-based companies also said also sells paid subscribers, but it's losing more money as it's been looking for ways to turn a profit. One thing AI is going to do, one of the things that AI may do as well, is that it may it's going to seriously damage a lot of media outlets, because many people who just want simple questions are going to be, or news as that. I do fear that AI is going to hurt. It's going to hurt so much more than we know. This browser could very much really have significant damage. I'm not a personal fan of ChatGPT myself. I have Grok on my mobile phone, and I find it quite. And I don't. The only thing I do is mainly I use it to ask questions that I'm not 100% sure of. And what I like about it is that Grok always tells me where it gets its sources from. It gives me a list of all the sources that it does as well, which I find very interesting, so that I know exactly where it got that information from, if I ever want to explore more of it, rather than Grok getting more information from Grok there. Paula Thomas, thank you so much for the £5 super chat. Donald Trump is the most openly corrupt president in the USA, has had, and there is a lot of competition. He is the most corrupt. I absolutely 100% agree, and I think everyone in the chat agrees that Donald Trump is the most corrupt president in America's history, and it's going to take something special for him to lose that title. It's mind-boggling that a guy who was considered a complete and total outsider said the kind of things that he said, and yet was still elected president. Now, everybody thought it was bonkers that he was running, and the guy ended up winning the goddamn presidency. You know, people thought it was a joke that Boris Johnson could become prime minister, and look what happened there. You know, just some of the most bonkers people out there who have some of the weirdest charisma can end up becoming prime minister. It can generally happen. It can definitely happen. Thank you so much for that super chat. I really appreciate your support. Peru's president declares state of emergency in the capital as he tries to stem a surge in violence. I think I touched on this a little bit last week, but Peru is not in a very good place, guys. Yeah, state of emergency in the capital as it tries to stem surge in violence. Yeah. Peru's new president declared a state of emergency in the capital on Tuesday in the government's latest attempt to stem a surge in violence that has stirred protests and contributed to the recent downfall of his predecessor. Peru has been seen as an increasingly killings, violent extortion and attacks on public places in recent years. Between January and September, police reported 1,690 homicides compared to 1,502 during the same period of 2024. The President Dina Bolo was removed from office by Peru's Congress on October the 10th after an impeachment process in which lawmakers said she had been unable to tackle the crime wave. She was immediately replaced by Jose Jevi, the legislative body leader. And in a televised message, said the emergency in Lima will last 30 days, and that the government is considering steps including deploying soldiers to help police and resisting and restricting some rights such as freedom of assembly and movement. His government published later a decree formally declaring the emergency. This is very scary here. Wars are won with actions, not words, the president said in his address. He said that he's planning a new approach to fighting crime and has described it as going from defense to offense. Peru has seen major protests against violence and corruption led by Gen Z activists. Protesters rallied in Lima on Thursday and demanded the resignation of the new president. The demonstration turned violent, leaving one civilian dead and around 100 people injured, including police officers and some journalists. He said that same day that he wouldn't resign. The former president, Barrow, declared a 30-day state of emergency in March, but he did little to reduce crime. I need to know more about Peru's politics to understand what's happening here. This is very worrying indeed for the nation. But you know, this is another example of the Gen Z population being dismissed and not being given the opportunities to succeed again. You know, we've spoken about, you know, the opportunities for our youngsters here in the UK. We talk about it, what's happening in America. It's happening in other countries. We've just seen here an example in Peru. This is happening in many, many countries in the world where youngsters, the next generation of kids, are not getting the same opportunities that their parents and their grandparents had, and many of them feel resentment towards the government because some of them don't. Many of those in different backgrounds and countries and nations feel that their government is not listening to them and giving them the same opportunities. So you're seeing that open up more and more. At least 63 people killed in the crash of a bus and other vehicles in western Uganda. First of all, my sincere condolences. That's absolutely terrible. Japan says it plans to tell Trump that it will build up military and upgrade security strategy. Interesting there. Immigration agents conducting sweep on New York City's famed Canal Street, confronted by protesters. The Laval reopens 3 days after the thieves took the French crown jewels in daylight heist. Yep, so the heist there, we talked about that on Monday, I believe it was. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm sure. So what they did say, I think if I correct me if I'm wrong, but what they did say was the chances are what they'll do is they'll basically smash it to pieces. They smash it to pieces and basically sell the jewelry off is what they're planning to do. Israel identifies 2 more hostages' bodies as France prepares to meet Netanyahu. Watch a baby elephant play ball with a small pumpkin. This is very important news, guys. This is very important news. We need to see this. But first, they need to drum us up with adverts. While they do the adverts, let's have a quick look in the chat. You swallowed a Smurf, says person impersonator. I did not. Why do I have a blue face as Indie Duck Melanie? Okay, I see there. It is weird that a government led by an ex-DDP should be able to screw up the grooming gangs inquiry so badly, says Paul Thomas. More grooming gangs inquiry witnesses have quit. Oh man, yeah, it's just it's terrible. Let me get my headset on because I want to listen to this, guys, as well. Right, let's have a listen.
Well, I think when I put it down, she was kind of like,
oh, yeah, yeah.
I'll step back.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
And once mom sees it, it'll probably be all over.
I mean, it hasn't been squashed yet.
Look at those football skills. Look at those football skills, guys. This elephant got skills. Oh! Oh, that's cool. Lovely. What a talented individual. Yep, sign that baby elephant up. that was worth it. Yeah, that was great stuff, guys. Great stuff. Oh, there we go. Every now and then, guys, when we do these good morning shows, every now and then we'll find something. We find something like this, you know, and it's like really cool. I do like finding the odd videos like this, you know. Very, very cool. Supreme Court will consider whether people who regularly smoke pot can legally own guns. They shouldn't do. Make America healthy again. Oh my God. Is that what Robert F. Kennedy was wearing? Healthy again. While still offering the McDonald's, right? Ah. That was very cool. That was very cool. Right, let's check out oh yeah, I'm going to rant and rave about that story in just a moment. Is it still there? Yeah, it is still there. That is the story I want to rant and rave about. I was looking at before starting the show. Yellow card. Yellow card. For big creatures, they have a light touch when needed. Yes, personally, indeed. That was lovely. Right, Kiev Independent here, guys. So, latest update here. 6 people have been killed, 21 injured in Kiev and Oblast during a mass Russian overnight missile and drone attacks here. This is a developing story here. Large-scale missile and drone attack on energy infrastructure across Ukraine. killed 6 people and injured at least 36 overnight on the 22nd of October. According to authorities in Kiev, 2 people were killed and 21 injured, while 4 were killed in the Brosky district of Kiev Oblast. Regional authorities have reportedly said. In Zaporizhzhia Oblast, at least 15 civilians were injured, the governor Ivan has said there. Strikes were widespread. The President Volodymyr Zelensky said on the same day that Russia had also struck in Ostrania and several other provinces there. Ukraine's biggest private energy firm, DKEK, said any emergency power outages were in place in Kiev, Dnipropetrovsk Oblast, and reported significant damage to energy infrastructure in Ostia Oblast. Yeah, this is one of the things that they do this every winter now, is that they try to freeze out the Ukrainians, and it's pretty brutal. Residents heard explosions at around 1:10 a.m. local time shortly after authorities issued a ballistic missiles warning, according to Kiev independent journalists on the ground. Several more rounds of explosives followed about 30 minutes later. Several fires broke out in the city and medics were dispatched to the attack sites. Klitschko reported that vehicle fires and damage to windows and courtyards and residential buildings occurred in a blaze. A residential high rise was contained. Additional emergency services rescued 10 people from the building. Kiev City military administration's head said that in total 2 people have been killed in Kiev and 21 injured, including 5 children. See here, you know, like how much more, like this is the thing, people who are supporting Russia or stand on the side of Russia, how do they condone the deaths of civilians here? Children being targeted in this war and conflict. Is there any condemnation on Russia's part for those who stand by and support Russia's side in all of this? Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely terrible. Terrible. Children, they'll be traumatized by some of those effects. You know, we talk about a lot what's been happening inside Gaza, but you know, some of these deeply tragic effects happen here as well. Zelensky visits Sweden and Norway ahead of a coalition of the willing meeting. No, thank you. President Zelensky visited Sweden and Norway today to discuss support for Ukraine with the country's leaders. It was first welcomed, according to the Swedish government, said the whole press conference. No announcements yet have been made so far. They haven't announced anything yet. 2 leaders met in the sea. Liz Conn, Home Defense Secretary. The Saab JS-39 Gripen is a light 4.5 generation fighter, could be used for both defense and offensive tasks. Kiev and Stockholm have repeatedly discussed the possibility of supplying the aircraft to Ukraine. No decision has been made so far. A strong, capable Ukraine is a key priority for Sweden. We'll continue to make sure Ukraine can fight back against Russian aggression, he said on X. Looking forward to discussing how to further our cooperation. We have a lot to learn from each other. Anything else to add on this? Later in the day, Zelensky and First Lady arrived in Oslo to meet the Norwegian Prime Minister. Spokesperson confirmed it there. A few days after the meeting with Trump. Trump later suggested pushing hostilities along the border front line. Possible joint statement. European partners are flocking back to Kiev amid uncertainty about Washington's next move. After Trump announced on October 16th the summer of Russia and planning to ban Putin in the coming weeks, Washington said only a few days later that the plan is being shelved for now. Yeah, so any kind of deal, any kind of meeting with Vladimir Putin in Budapest has been shelved. Russia have kind of shut it down. It's expected to visit London and join a meeting of the European Coalition of Willing on October 24th. Okay, so he's heading to London in 2 days' time. Zelensky is always welcome into the UK. We always welcome him, indeed. Intelligent dog, it was there. That's how you act towards you. Talking about something else there. What else we got here? No plans for Trump-Putin summit in the immediate future. Yeah, we kind of just touched on that already. There's a story on the right I will come to in a moment. Ukraine strikes Russian's chemical plant with Storm Shadow missile. Military says. Ukraine central bank weakened by Hanover. Ukraine's ex-grid operator says raid on homes meant to send him a message. So this is the story that really grind my gears when I looked at it here. This one really angers me. Russian Children Commissioner shamelessly describes the kidnapping of a Ukrainian child. Do not mistake this person's pretty face for anything. This is a vile, disgusting woman who, her and her people take pleasure in taking away Ukrainian children away from their parents, taking them away from their country, taking them away from their livelihoods, and adopting them and forcing them into Russia, making them Russia. Some obviously they do return some Ukrainian children, but they've nowhere near returned them enough. This is a terrible, terrible individual, and she is wanted. But whether we'll ever get our hands on her, I don't know. But she's a vile, vile individual, guys. So Maria Lavia Bolivia, I don't care if I mispronounced her bloody name. I don't, you know, she's just a terrible, evil person, just like Putin. Paula Thomas, thank you again for the £5 super chat. Really appreciate it. The Russian attack would have happened whenever the attack on the Russian chemical factory had happened or not, and the Glyphon is an effing good plane. Anything that helps stop, like every day we hear every day there's daily attacks of drones and missile strikes from Russians occupied territory into Ukraine, and every single day it's very rare that there's a day where civilians die. It's very rare, but there have been the odd day where no civilians have suffered loss of life, but we know that unfortunately there have been civilian loss of life there. But yeah, the Russian chemical factory. Yeah, well, there's also the nuclear power plant in Zaporizhzhia, I believe it is, or in Kherson. I believe it's Zaporizhzhia, where obviously it's very, very scary, the nuclear power plant there as well. So that's a very scary situation as well. Thank you so much for that, Paul. I really appreciate it. Russia's Commissioner for Children's Rights, wanted by the International Criminal Court for the abduction of Ukrainian children, has revealed new details about kidnapping a boy from Mariupol, who she later claimed to have adopted. In a recent interview on Russian talk show, she described how she took in, yeah, a 15-year-old boy named Philip from Mariupol, the cities Russia demolished and occupied early in the war. She said that Philip didn't want to go to Russia, and said that he was annoyed by Moscow and Russia, but she managed to re-educate him. Oh, re-educate, guys. In March 2023, the International Criminal Court issued arrest warrants for both Lviva Befka and the Russian President Vladimir Putin. Let me move there. The Kremlin has rejected the accusation politically motivated. By telling the story of kidnapping Felipe, effectively confirms the act that has made her wanted for war crimes, taking a child from occupied territory and reshaping its identity to fit narrative narrative. Yeah, so you pretty much confirmed what we already knew. She became the second woman in history to be the subject of an ICC arrest warrant, charged with war crimes related to forced transfer of civilians during an armed conflict. She met Felipe and described it as a part of her humanitarian trips to occupy Donbass, where she helped evacuate children, quote unquote. She said the boy seriously complained of the family atmosphere after he arrived after suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. Well, he's not. We can't hear from the boy himself. We have to take your word for it, right? She said, "I don't want to live in Russia. I love Ukraine." He sang the Ukrainian songs all the time. I told him, and trying to provoke me by singing in Ukrainian. We are brotherly people, she says. She claimed that Philippe hostility came from anti-Russian propaganda in Mariupol schools, and described how she tried to re-educate him. So it's anti-Russian propaganda, guys. It's not the bombs. It's not the invasion of their nation. It's nothing to do with that. It's not as if it's none of to do with that. No, it's not the Russian troops coming in, occupying territory, killing some of their potential civilians as well. No, it's not that. It's propaganda it's anti-Russian propaganda, guys. That's what's caused young Philippe boy here to be more Russian, to turn against Russia. Yeah. There was a turning point. He kept rating pro-Ukrainian websites while already living with my family in Moscow. I told him, listen, you're in Russia now. You need to change your attitude. He said, I always read them, as I said, son, at least for my sake, so we treat little by little. When the interviewer asked why she had taken him in when he didn't want to live in Russia, Louis Bourgal, it's just a teenage thing. What a terrible person. I'm not going to go any further than that, but yeah, this vile woman, she has destroyed that child. That child did not want to be there. I would not be surprised if there was alleged beatings on children as well. Alleged, I have to stress that word as well. Anti-Russia did not want to be kidnapped. Wow, I know. It's children. We talk about the children all the time in Gaza, and there's this I don't feel like we talk enough about this, the Ukrainian children, and it's just heartbreaking because so many parents out there who have lost their children, or many who have lost their parents due to combat and whatnot. A lot of them just been sent. I mean, some have been returned by Russia, which is a good thing, but it's very very difficult to talk about. Switching gears, we'll talk here from African news here. Wasted meeting, says Vladimir Putin. The Hungary summit between Trump and Putin has been cancelled. Gaza here, cash crisis persists despite bank reopening. We might cover Al Jazeera later on. I normally go to that nearly on a daily basis, to be fair. What is this? Baby snow leopard sees a pumpkin for the first time. Oh, another animal video. Shall we have a look? I think it's worth it. Oh, look at it go. Yep, this is definitely... Oh, this is in Michigan, USA. Yep, this was definitely worth watching, guys. Oh, look at that. That is very cute. Snow leopards as well. I like that's one thing they're very good at doing. Some of these zoos, you know, they just put pumpkins in them, and you know, Halloween stuff and all that kind of stuff. You know, very cute stuff, guys. Very cute. Yeah, I would not be either, Paula. I would not be either. We have weekly demonstrations here for Ukraine. They've been trying to teach me words. It's one hard language, says Indie Duck. I say what the Russians badly it's called in Ukraine, but I forgot how to say it. Snow leopards are the best. I wouldn't want one as a pet though. Probably would not want as a pet. Might be a bit difficult to raise. They are wild animals after the end of the day. Tunisia discontent over factory pollution grows there. That's is that yesterday? No, that's this morning. What's this about? Hundreds of people over the last 2 weeks marched through the streets of Gabelus in the city's Tunisia's south to denounce what they call an environmental and health catastrophe. On Tuesday, offices and shops remained shuttered. Thousands of workers declared a general strike demanding the closure of the government-owned phosphate processing plant, which they accuse of emitting poisonous gas. Researchers have found that some of the waste discharged by the factory is radioactive and it can cause cancer. Opposition to the factory goes back several years. The government promised to shut down the plant in 2017, but went back on its word this year by vowing to ramp up production. The protest by mostly young people broke out 2 weeks in the city of 400,000. Poisonous gases. They promised in 2017. That was 8 years ago, and they've gone back on it today. Wow, that's terrible. That's terrible. That's corruption, obviously. Well, we know Tunisia is a corrupt country anyway, but money being handed over shouldn't be surprised. Uganda's electoral commission sets final date for general election there. International organisations for mediation launches in Hong Kong. Morocco raises health and education spending in the 2026 draft budget. In Cameroon, Paul Della declared as provisional winner of the presidential election. 8 days after Cameroon's presidential election, the National Vote Counting Commission released provisional results pointing to victory of the incumbent president, Paul Biya. The commission said Biya arrived with over 53% of the vote in front of his main opposition, Timur Baki, at 35%. These preliminary results has already disputed. Opposition candidate Tissa Rothman has been claiming victory for the past week. I want to say this with gravity and simplicity. The people have made their choice, and their choice must be respected, he said in a statement just 2 days after the election. On Sunday night, he started releasing his own tally, which placed him in first place, which is with about 60% of the votes. He's called the official figures inaccurate and called for greater transparency. The controversy has stirred tensions in Cameroon. Demonstrations erupted across the country in recent days, with some protesters accusing authorities of electoral fraud. Several major cities protest ending in clashes and security forces. The Constitutional Council published its official results by 2026. So that's on Sunday, this Sunday. If validated, the outcome will see Paul Biya extended his 42-year rule at the helm of Cameroon at 92 years old. But he was already one of the longest-serving leaders in Africa. Yeah, he's going to rig the election. He's going to rig the election in his favour. We just know it. Like I think we kind of sussed that he's going to try and rig it in his favour, and that's what I generally think is going to happen there. Generally think so, guys. People of Cameroon, they're being denied again. So many African nations are stuck with corruption. It's so sad. Quick look at Asia. Not going to spend too much here because there's a couple of other places worth looking at. Practice Trace to Invest, not really interested. Senegal school stabbing 14-year-old boy charged with the murder of a female schoolmate to undergo psychiatric evaluation. Oh my god. 14-year-old schoolboy. FIFA president set to visit Malaysia during the Asian summit amid neutralised player scandal. Thailand's ex-PM Pajagon quits as party leader. Ex-Prime Minister. Japan said it plans to tell Trump it will build up military and upgrade security strategy, it says. Japan's new foreign ministry said on Wednesday that its country plans to show its demonstration to further build up its defense to rapidly adapt to changing warfare realities and growing tensions in the region where US President Donald Trump visits Tokyo next week. Trump is expected to hold talks next Tuesday with Japan's Prime Minister. Yes, Sandy Takanishiki. I hope I said that right. First female Japanese Prime Minister. She spent much of the past few weeks embroiled in internal political wrangling, has to face major diplomatic tests within days of taking office, Trump and the two regional summits. We are firmly preparing for Trump's visit. Yeah, I should think so. They had hoped Trump's first meeting with Takanishiki during his October 29th would serve as an opportunity for the two leaders to discuss further strengthening the US-Japan alliance while fostering its personal relationship of trust. He said Japan hopes to further cooperate with South Korea along with other regional partners, including Australia and the Philippines, while seeking stable and constructive relations with China. Apparently, he's kind of going a 5-year military build-up through 2027 as part of a national security strategy, including doubling its annual defense spending of 2% gross domestic product. Strategy that promotes Japan's strike-back capabilities with long-range missiles marks a major break from Japan's defensive-only principle under its post-war pacifist constitution. The ruling party alliance with its right-wing Japanese Innovation Party that replaces the Doffist-centrist Kimagol Party has raised concerns that a revised strategy may involve further offensive roles for Japan under the Prime Minister as security hawk. Yeah, they've been very defensive for a long time, obviously because of the past history there. You know, it's a kind of similar in a way to Germany's history. You know, a bit similar in history, even though they're two different cultures. Both obviously have enacted and done things that they regret, obviously, as part of their history. But you know, a lot of times has changed since then. Taiwan reports its first case of African swine fever there as well. North Korea fires ballistic missiles towards the east. South Korea is claiming there as well. Any other interesting stories here on Asia that's worth looking at? Far from home, migrant workers from the Philippines. Choppy seas. Nothing. Any other interesting stories here? Japan's power at the heart of nuclear power at the heart of new Japan's energy policy. UN cybercrime to be signed in how raises hopes concerns. Japan's Iron Lady. I just don't like that comparison. I hope she's not got the Thatcher-like ideals, if I'm perfectly honest. But I don't think it's fair to make that comparison, if I'm honest, guys. Some interesting stories there from Central Asian news there. Just a reminder, we've got about 10 minutes left, guys. If you want to support with Super Chat or gifted memberships, you're more than welcome to do so. Got 2 more to reach today's Super Chat goal, so if you guys want to help out, feel free to do so. Also, a quick reminder, I won't be covering Prime Minister's questions, but Max Robespierre will be covering it on his YouTube channel. If you guys want to watch Prime Minister's questions, you can watch it from there. Or you can check it out from Graham Hughes' from Politics Social, a perspective there at 12 o'clock. Both of them will be covering Prime Minister's questions. I'm probably going to stop about 2 minutes, maybe 1 minute before 12 o'clock, so you guys can switch over in time for them as well there. And also a reminder, I'll be going live tonight at 8 o'clock for Reganelite's Watch Along. We'll be watching along and reacting to certain things using Twitter. There'll be plenty of stories, I'm sure, from America, here in the UK, and maybe even some stuff in the Middle East and even in Ukraine. So do join me for the Watch Along show. And a final reminder, tomorrow, guys, there will be the round table. Join me for that. I will have Power to the People's Graham Price, Daily Blase, and One Angry Pagan will be joining us tomorrow at 8 o'clock for that show. So if you can join us for that, feel free to do so. Obviously, got another one planned next month as well. So if you can join us for that show, feel free to do so. Be talking all sorts of politics and that and whatnot, guys. So NBC News here. Democrats call on to disengage Trump to get involved to end the shutdown. Some Republicans say Trump will not negotiate with Democrats until the government reopens, while others have said he's been focused on Gaza. No, Donald Trump is not interested in reopening the government because it gives his administration the opportunity to cut more of the federal people. We know that that's the case. That's what it's all about there. Children among dead in Russian strikes. After Trump pauses Putin talks. Trump puts a pause on summit with Putin, which we've covered already. Any other stories here that we haven't got? Tropical storm Melissa brings flood and risks to Haiti, Dominican Republic, and Jamaica. Haiti's gone through so much, and they're going to be getting another storm. Louisville reopens after a dual heist with the thieves still on the run. Where will they get caught? It's been a couple of days now. Are they going to get caught? Are they going to get caught? That's a good question. HexF cracks down on Pentagon staff speaking to Congress. Yeah, don't like that. A new memo on communications on Capitol Hill signed by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and his deputies follow restrictions on reporting out of the Pentagon. Yeah, a lot of reporters have basically been have had to quit. This was over the weekend. So the Defense Department has significantly changed its policy of interacting with Congress, according to a new 5-page memo obtained by NBC News. The memo, which unfortunately was confirmed by a Defense Department official, instructs all Pentagon personnel, except for the Inspector General Office. Oh, this is not the media. This is actually workers, isn't it? To seek approval before they communicate with lawmakers and staff members on Capitol Hill and other elected officials. Dated October 15, the memo, which is signed by Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and Deputy Secretary Steve Fensberg, appears to all the Pentagon officials, including the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, to obtain permission from the Department's Legislative Affairs Office for any communication with Capitol Hill. The memo says that effective immediately, personnel must coordinate all legislation affair activities through the Office of Legislative Affairs. Basically, they want to control any narrative that comes out of the Pentagon. It's a departure from current practices. Previously, Defense Department agencies were free to manage their own interaction with Capitol Hill. But under Hegseth, the department has sought stricter controls over messaging coming out of the Pentagon. Dozens of reporters turned in their badges and left the building last week, with most news agencies refused to sign. Unprecedented restrictions Hegseth imposed that threatening consequences for journalists who reported information that had not been approved for release, even if it was unclassified. Yeah, this is really terrible. What's probably likely to happen is some of the people with inside Pentagon will basically anonymously tip off reporters from stories within the Pentagon. There will be people who will basically be trying to tip off and now. But if they get caught, there will be severe consequences for them based on all this. The new directive, which would further curb information flow from the Pentagon to Congress, is designed to achieve our legislative goals, Hegseth and his deputy wrote in the memo. No, it's designed to suppress freedom of information. The American people have a right to know what the Pentagon is doing to a certain extent, and you're denying the Americans the right to know there. From Prince Harry to Steve Bannon, hundreds call for a ban on AI superintelligence. They call, signed by Nobel ex-military leaders and celebrities, seek a ban on research that could create machines smarter than people. Okay. Yeah, there needs to be that AI can have such significant damage on people. New York police looking for women after newborn abandoned at subway stop. Family suspected is fraught Atlanta airport shooting that gave key info in averted tragedy there. U.S. Marshal and undocumented immigrant shot during ICE stop in Los Angeles, officials say. An undocumented immigrant was shot. Driver arrested ran into a Secret Service property near the White House. Man accused of holding 4 people captive in S.E. Bateman and is now accused of murder. Captive as well. Food banks and community groups embrace for a spike in demands as shutdown continues. Yep. As the shutdown continues, more and more people continue to suffer. Trump acknowledges he's seeking a lot of money for damages from the Department of Justice, which we touched on at the start of the program. There. Thank you, Alistair Kier, for the £2 super chat. One less to the goal. Yes, one less to the super chat goal. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate it. Let's have a look at Euro News. We've got about a couple minutes left. There we go. Venice airport closed after cigarette smuggling balloons spotted. No Trump meeting in the foreseeable future. Russian drones hit Kharkov kindergarten. Children evacuated. A kindergarten, guys. A kindergarten. Yeah. This is the targets that Russia are doing, right? 6 arrested after anti-immigrant protests in Dublin turns violent. Demonstrators erupted at a hotel housing asylums in the outskirts of Ireland's capital after reports of alleged sexual assault on a young girl. Oh god, this sounds like Epping again. 6 people have been arrested after protesters clashed with Irish police in Dublin during anti-immigration demonstrations sparked by an alleged sexual assault of a young girl. Hundreds of protesters gathered on Tuesday night outside the City West Hotel, which houses asylum seekers in Sandgate, West Dublin. Police were attacked with glass bottles, bricks and fireworks, and a police vehicle was set on fire just outside the hotel. Many protesters were holding Irish flags and placards featuring anti-immigrant messages, according to local media coverage. Demonstrations took place following reports a 26-year-old asylum seeker had sexually assaulted a 10-year-old girl on the hotel grounds. Allegedly. We don't know that. The man, who has not been identified, and whose ethnicity is unknown, was charged on Tuesday in connection with the assault, local media reported. The Irish Prime Minister, Michael Martin, has condemned the attack on police officers. There can be no justification for violent abuse against them or the attempted assaults and attacks on members of the force that will shock all right-thinking people, he said. Pay tribute to the former the Gabbrai, who acted courageously and quickly to restore order. The young girl who was allegedly attacked has been in state care and has absconded during a trip to the city centre, according to the country's Child and Family Agency has said. Martin told Parliament on Tuesday he recognised the concerns, anger and worry of many people over the incident. Clearly, this has been a failure in terms of the state obligation to protect this child. This is very scary indeed. Obviously, we're about 2 minutes away from Prime Minister's questions, so I'll just comment quickly on this before we go. This is obviously really horrific and really tragic, and my heartfelt condolences. I really hope that that if this person is found, the problem is that this is similar to what happened in Epping here, where we had somebody allegedly touching someone, and that person was found guilty. And the problem is that because one person was found to have done it, and a migrant elect to have done it, they assume that every single asylum seeker is in the same way as well, which is absolutely a tragic thing here. And everyone just sparks out of anger, saying that, oh, they're all the same, they're all the same, and we know that they're not. We know that they're not, guys. Absolutely terrible indeed. So, guys, Witchy Golf, good to see you there. Hope you're doing well, guys. Check out Witchy Golf's YouTube channel if you get a chance to do so. Guys, I am done here. It's just about hit 12 o'clock. If you want to head over to either Max Robespierre's YouTube channel for PMQs or for Graham Hughes on Politics Social for Prime Minister's Questions, do check out either one of them for that. But I am done here today. I want to say thank you guys all for coming along. Thank you guys for those who gave Super Chats today. Didn't reach there to the Super Chat goal, but that's totally fine. Thank you guys for those, Paula Thomas and Alison Keir, for your Super Chats. I really appreciate it. There, I'll be back again live tonight at 8 o'clock. So if you guys can join me for that, feel free to do so. But on your way out, if you can, just before I go, thank you, Alison Keir, for the £2 super chat for the goal, or how the DPR. Thank you for helping reach the goal. Much appreciated. Just before I head out, if you can, hit that like button, share across social media, subscribe if you haven't already. Check out Rumble and Patreon for exclusive content on those platforms as well. And hopefully I will see you guys live tonight at 8 p.m. for another live stream. But until then, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.